Welcome to the programme. It's another edition of Business Connections Live. This is Business Connections Live number 2. My name's Steve Hyland, and it's great to have your company with us. Now, the first thing I want to say to you before we go any further is it would be fantastic if you would go onto our YouTube channel and subscribe to what you're seeing today. In fact, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's great to have you with us. We're looking for as many YouTube followers as we possibly can. So it really is as simple as that. Go to our YouTube channel, look out for Business Connections Live, and you'll find us sitting there as well. Now, a great show lined up for you tonight. If you missed number 1, don't fear, because we'll be doing a little bit of a recap of that a little bit later on in the programme. Also, we'll be looking at the business news. A lot's been going on actually in the press over the past 7 days, particularly with the Labour Party conference that's taking place down in Brighton. So an interesting week, interesting things have been said. We'll be getting maybe a bit of a slant, a bit of an opinion on that. And here in the studio live, or as live as it can be, I've got the lovely Lynn Parry-Jones. You know, I never realised that your name was Parry-Jones. Yeah, and thank you ever so much for joining us today. Now, you've actually got a fantastic website. We're going to be talking more about that, but it's more to you than meets the eye. We're going to be talking to you about Amazon, aren't we? Mm-hmm, yeah. So it should be quite an interesting one. And if maybe actually putting your product up on Amazon is not exactly what you're looking for, then perhaps maybe it should indeed be Gavin McCoy that we're going to be talking to. And Gavin's on the end of our Skype call. Hello there, Gavin. Good to have you with us.
Hi, good evening, Steve.
Now, how would you describe yourself?
Well, I think the term information publisher is quite a good one, but generally online entrepreneur embraces just about everything.
We're just going to show you. So it really is a very diverse program that we're talking about. Gavin will be back with you again in just a few moments' time. All right then, so where shall we kick off? I tell you what we'll do. We're going to go with the highlights of last week's program. If you were watching Business Connections Live number 1, then you would have seen 2 of our favourite guests actually joining us last week. We had a lot of fun with the program and a lot of great and positive results and response from you right after the show went out. It's had something well over 100 views now on YouTube, so thank you very much for that. And also a vast number of views on our own website, which is businessconnectionslive.com. You can either go there or to rttvmedia.com. Either of them. But right now, let's give you a bit of a taster of what happened last week on Business Connections Live.
When you do something like social media, it can take up a lot of time. And you need to be focused on what you want to get out of for your business.
There are people making a lot of money out of social media. I'm not saying Nikki's making lots of money out of social media, but she's done very well through social media. And in fact, I've been on 1 or 2 of Nikki's courses.
People do business with people then will know, like, and trust. And, you know, and that still applies. People haven't changed, the technology has changed.
We've kind of gone round in a bit of a circle. It all became a little bit impersonal with the internet to start with, and now we're going back to the fact that people want to know who they're dealing with. They want to know about the people that they're dealing with, and that's where the networking and the other areas that we're involved in come into play.
There's something called social proof in terms of how other people recommending it. But the thing is, you can have 15,000 people who've liked a page. You're not getting any business from them.
But there it is. How did Twitter for business success?
For Twitter, I always recommend that you commit at least 15 minutes a day, but that's probably all you need to do with Twitter. Is if you spend just 15 minutes a day, it can be very, very effective.
The social media thing is to take an interest in other people, and then they'll take interest in you.
If you say tweet at a certain time, you get together a group of people who will always be there, and you form a community. And where people like you, they will promote your stuff.
You know, selling to people at network is like throwing up all over them. It's a horrible sort of coarse, old-fashioned way of going about business to pitch yourself at people. So I always say to people at my groups that it's not, please don't sell to the room. What you're doing is you're going along to the event to ask for referrals.
There is that old story, isn't there, about being at a party in a dark room, winking at the most attractive girl. If she can't see you, she'll never know you're there.
Yeah.
For networking to work, I believe that it's got to be a regular thing. Going along to one meeting here, there or everywhere, dipping your toe in the water is not going to achieve a lot.
Choose one thing, learn how to use it properly, You can take all those skills onto the next platform. But quite often people say, oh, you need a Facebook page, you need a Twitter account, you need a Google Plus, YouTube video, etc. And you get overwhelmed. And when you get overwhelmed, you don't do anything. Twitter may sound complicated, and I know there's a big fear factor with Twitter, but it's probably the simplest to come to grips with. You've got less than 140 characters.
So all I hear is, I don't want to read about someone, what toothpaste they used this morning, but you don't have to read all of that. And some people, one guy who recently signed up, he said, oh God, you've got almost 4,000 followers. How do you read all those tweets? Well, you don't read them, you just read the ones that you want to.
I need to follow you, don't I? I don't think I have.
I think I'm following you.
You're following us.
And I tell you what, I get terribly upset if people don't follow me back.
You take them outside. Here we go. An interesting week last week, and thank you very much once again to our two guests, Paul, and to also our fantastic social expert who's with us as well. Okay, listen, great to have you with us, and let's get down to business, shall we, tonight, and have a bit of a chat with our guests that we've got. I understand that your microphone wasn't working a moment ago, so we better introduce yourself again. Just remind us who you are, young lady. You are?
Hi, I'm Lynn Parry-Jones, and I'm the MD of Naturals Best Limited.
Now, how long have you been actually in business for?
I've been in business since I was 21, which was quite a few years.
And really a whole range of very diverse businesses is what you've been involved with. What kind of scope have you looked at? What kind of things have you done?
Mostly direct sales via Party Plan. We've had 3 separate companies that do that. I'm also a natural health practitioner, personal trainer and a massage therapist. And the 2 companies were related to that, including this one.
So, and you've gone down the route of using Amazon to distribute products for yourself at the moment, but I know you're also looking at the moment of maybe going back and doing something different within your business too.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Before we get onto the whole subject of Amazon and why Amazon is so important to your business, Gavin, you've decided to go a different way. This is Gavin McCoy, who is an internet entrepreneur. Actually, you and I go back quite a long way, don't we?
We do, Steve, because we were once in the same kind of business. We worked in broadcasting, but just about 3 years ago, I decided that getting on the train going into London at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 or 7 days a week, was too much for me. And I thought there must be a way of earning a living by fundamentally staying at home and working on the internet, which is the thing that I've done. And I broke loose 3 years ago and really have never looked back.
I mean, it is quite interesting because you sometimes actually do hear about these different schemes and things like that, and you ask yourself the question, is it all a bit of a con? Can it actually be done? And you've actually proved the point that it can be, but I suppose there are a lot of people out there that think they would like to make money using the internet and never achieve it because they just don't do it for long enough or hard enough.
Yeah, there are people who, strangely enough, will spend a lot of money on training courses, educate themselves, and for some reason they just don't follow it through to that final stage where they push the button and try and get money coming in. Something seems to hold them back, and it might be fear of failure, it might be some technical info they need that they haven't quite mastered, but something like 3% of people who get on board in internet marketing actually succeed at it. But it is a persistence business where you really have to see things through, and actually the key word is to take action.
Now, the pair of you are very different in the kind of business that you do. You've actually got a solid product that you're selling. Now, just describe some of the products then.
Well, we sell lots and lots of different products, main manufacturers in this country, but the primary object of what I want to do is actually to import from other countries, the Philippines, and to manufacture my own products again, like I used to do with one of my other companies in Mortel.
And prior to going to Amazon, how were you getting those products to your customers? What were you doing?
I was a personal trainer, and I used to...
So you're doing it like that?
Yeah, selling products that way.
What made you go down the Amazon route? Because obviously the real difference between yourself and Gavin, I suppose, is that you've actually got a real product to sell, and what Gavin is selling is, you're selling information, aren't you, Gav?
I am, yeah, and I suppose the difference between Lynn and me is solid products which have to be fulfilled, and no doubt Amazon is the fulfillment house for Lynn. I'm only guessing here, Lynn. But in my case, once people have paid the money with PayPal, they simply press the button and download an information product, which they can read on screen, read on their Kindle, and take possession of straight away. So I'm not actually selling anything physical unless people want a DVD or a CD version of the product that I'm offering.
What about in your case, Lynn? I mean, it's interesting to hear that from Gavin. I mean, the commitment is different from what he's doing. So he's working very much. It's not really a one-man band because you do JVs with people, but we'll come on to that in just a moment. But it is very much a case that Gavin's got an information product that's easy to download, and you've got this huge organisation, Amazon, to actually deal with.
Yeah.
Is it a great way to go? Is it an easy process to get selling on Amazon?
It's easy to get selling on Amazon, easy, but it's not easy to keep the momentum and keep both the Amazon customers happy and Amazon themselves.
So Amazon as a corporate then, just what are they like to deal with?
Amazon are very, very customer based. It's all about the customer. It's not so much about the merchants, which I'm a merchant. I sell as a third-party merchant on Amazon. So they always take the customers. So if a customer says that something hasn't been delivered, it hasn't been delivered. There's no leeway with Amazon. And also, if you're not 100% committed to your business, Amazon will just suspend your account.
Well, the thing that's interesting about
have to work very hard.
is that the customer has been put first by Amazon,
Yeah, totally.
of course. And it's also something that you see, I mean, my background, of course, is shopping television
Yeah.
and radio, as Gavin said, but in shopping television, customers are always right, and you always got the 30-day money-back guarantee.
Yeah.
Is it those kind of things? Is it more similar to that than it is, shall we say, to conventional retailing?
It is very similar, but as you haven't got anybody to actually, you don't have an account manager. You're just dealing with this screen basically, and certain problems will get dealt with by lots of different people. So you can't enter into a conversation about a lost product.
And can that be quite frustrating?
Yes, it is frustrating because I work really, really hard to get the products out to the customers within the 2-day time frame, which is what Amazon expect. I do that, I post it. If it doesn't get there, it's still my fault.
So it's your responsibility to make sure that it's going to be there on time and in the right place.
Yeah, there's no leeway at all. No leeway.
Is that one of the frustrations, or is it one of many frustrations?
It's not so much a frustration. I understand it now. But if someone thinks they just want a little bit of sort of a tickle into the Amazon marketplace and just play around with it, you can't. eBay's more suitable for people that aren't really, if they want to run their business from the garden shed.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a little bit of a chat between the differences between Amazon and eBay, and I think there's a lot of people who are perhaps maybe starting their business at the moment. You really don't come up against those problems, do you, Gav?
In a way, no, because there's nothing physical that I'm shifting. But buying online, there is a degree of resistance from the point of view of the buyer. So I use PayPal as my payment processor, and they're much the same as Amazon are, where they offer the buyer an unconditional guarantee. In fact, I do on all of my websites, 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. And there are a tiny percentage of people who will take you for a ride, who will get the product, download it, and then request a refund. And the only thing you can do is put yourself into the mindset where you say, we just forget it. I'm not going to sweat over it. Some people will try and cheat you, but it's probably 1% will try and do that, or maybe even less than that. And if you sweat over it, then you're kind of devising schemes that are anti-customer as opposed to anti-fraud. You're putting hurdles in front of people. So, in my business, which is information, you've always got to offer a guarantee, sometimes 60 days, sometimes 30 days. You've always got to have a no quibble clause in it where I don't really want to discuss reasons with people unless they're beneficial to me improving the product. If somebody says, I could have done with a chapter on so-and-so in one of your products, that's fantastic. But if they didn't like it or it wasn't suitable, here's your money back, as soon as that.
And I suppose the thing is, this whole area of 30-day money-back guarantee and giving money back, the thing about your business, I would imagine, Gavin, is that the money is there straight away. And it's different for you, Lynn, isn't it? You don't get the money the moment the product is bought. And I think a lot of people, when they deal with Amazon, think they do. How does that work?
It works on a two-week cycle. They pay you every 2 weeks, but then it takes 7 to 10 days to actually reach your bank account.
So actually, it's a 3-week cycle then. So whereas in your particular case, I mean, how do PayPal sort you out, Gavin?
Well, depending on which level account you've got, it's within, almost immediately. I get an email saying another payment has gone in I don't raid the account because I don't need to, and I always have what I would term a float sitting there. But it's very easy. I mean, you know, there can be requests for refunds that I never even see until a month later, and the money just arrives, basically. It's as easy as it could possibly be.
So we've got two very different businesses here, but both of them trying to achieve exactly the same thing, aren't they? They're both trying to get product to market. Let's just have a look at your website for a second, if we can. Natural Best. Unfortunately, you told me before we came on there, but it's just been hacked, isn't it?
Yes, it has, yeah.
So what we've got here at the moment is just literally the front page.
Just the skeleton.
That we've got, and you can actually see it here. How many products do you normally have on the site?
About 8,000.
About 8,000 products. You've got to repopulate the entire
Yes.
site like that.
It did need an update. It did
Yeah,
need an
but
update, but not that drastically.
Yeah, we don't like any of it. Get rid of it all. I like it.
They've raided the shop.
But you've got the site there. You say
Yep.
that you deal predominantly with Amazon.
Yeah.
How important was the website to you then?
Well, the website is going to be extremely important now because we're converting to an Amazon web store.
Right.
So in that way, I'll be able to promote my website as well as Amazon, because you can't promote a third party when you're selling for Amazon, but with an Amazon web store, you can.
And does that mean the payment system still actually goes through Amazon then?
Yes, it does, yeah. But that also makes, with a 30-day guarantee, and people, when customers are dealing with Amazon, they're happy to deal with Amazon because they know the service levels with Amazon. So that's
So
why
there is a reputation then,
Oh,
there is that
that's
real comfort
people
feel
are happy
for the
to
customer.
purchase through Amazon.
Gavin, from your point of view, I'm just going to have a look at one of your sites here, and I'll just check it out. This is one of your sites. This is very typical of the internet kind of sites that we see these days, from this direct marketing that we see online, the internet marketing. Just tell us a little bit about this site and the design around it.
Well, you can see that I'm not selling anything there, Steve, and because I attend seminars and do webinars on the people always say, what's your website? How can I get more information? So this basically is an opt-in page, and you can see the little boxes there ask people to give their first name and their email address. What I'm trying to do is to put them onto my mailing or contact list, and I use some software which is called Aweber, which is something in this business we call an autoresponder, which allows me to communicate with my potential customers or customers. So on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm just incentivizing people. I'm getting them to exchange their name and email address for some free gifts, essentially.
Well, there it is. There's
So
our website there that we can see at the moment.
So I'm not selling anything here, but when they get onto this website and they opt in, they will be confronted with probably 4 or 5 pieces of internet marketing advice in emails, and then probably on the 6th email, I might make them an offer for an inexpensive bit of software or an information product that I'm selling. So they get onto what's termed a sales funnel here, with something free or cheap in the beginning, and then as their interest is kindled, they may well purchase something and become a customer as opposed to a prospect.
Is that something, do you feel, that maybe other businesses can use, the more conventional businesses like Lind? I'm sure that you actually do have effectively a sales funnel when a call comes in, or are you predominantly and all the time through Amazon and there's no other option?
Presently it's through Amazon, yes, but there are plans to repopulate the website and do blogs.
And do you find blogs, Gavin, important as well for increasing your business level too?
I mean, I have a personal blog because I have expertise in a certain area, and I use that. But ordinarily, I'm really putting some information on the website. For example, hipreplacementbook.com is solving a problem for somebody. I'm a solution provider, and my information products provide a solution to particular problems. But somebody who's going to have a hip replacement operation, and they've just been told by their doctor or their specialist, is full of questions. What's going to happen? How long will recovery time be? Will it hurt? Can I resume sexual relations? Can I drive my car? Going through your mind with a
Not at the same
procedure.
time, by the way.
Well, it has been done, but not by
Very
me.
dangerous.
So in that particular instance, in fact, every instance of my websites, my information products, I'm solving someone's problem. And, without Google today, you think about 10 years ago, if you wanted some information, you wanted a tradesperson, you'd pick up the yellow pages and fan through it and try and find something. Now, what we do is we immediately go to Google and type in, best plumber in Oxfordshire or cheap plumber in Oxfordshire or whatever our question is, and Google provides the answer with some specialist information called search engine optimization. I'm trying to get my websites to be the answer that Google provides, and quite often they are. So that Google is the traffic forwarder to me, and will provide people who've asked a question the route to get to me to see the solution that I provide.
Well, it's interesting hearing that, because it is a technique that many businesses are using already, particularly the blog.
Yeah.
Video in its own right is actually now coming to the forefront for when it comes to actually marketing different products. And it's a great way of getting out there. Of course, Google loves video. You do actual video as well, Gavin, but yours are slides-based, aren't they?
They are, but I've got one of these authoring programs that allows me to do whiteboard videos, where a hand with a pen writes something or draws an image, and then I use those quite often. The website that I run with those is called, just trying to think what it's called, Whiteboard Doodle Wonders. So on there, you can probably, if I got that right, Whiteboard Doodle Wonders.
I'm getting there.
Kind of graphics that I do. And just talking to Lynn across you, Lynn, the people who will buy again from you are the people who bought once before. They're the easiest customers. So this, if you have a mailing list, if they bought, let's say, I'm not sure what you sell, but let's say if they bought vitamin D, those people will definitely be in the market to buy vitamin C or multivitamins or omega fish oil. But once you've got them on board, once they trust you as a merchant, then they will buy time and time again. And that relationship is so fruitful. But you can't do it without a mailing list, and you can't do it without this autoresponder software.
Well, I tell you what, I just found the actual site you're talking about. I think this is the Whiteboard Googler. This is just taking place.
Whiteboard Doodle Wonders.
Yeah, that's where I am right now. That's what I'm kind of looking at here. We can actually see that up on the screen at the moment.
Actually, that's not my website.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
but I tell you what, it's a very good website. We'll go to yours in just a moment.
It's fantastic. I love it. I might buy it. Anyway.
All right, I'll get rid of that then. No worry at all. Okay.
Not Google, but it's Doodle, as in Yankee Doodle.
Oh, Yankee Doodle. No wonder. Doodle. That's where I went wrong. I understand completely now.
Doodle Wonders.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like dyslexia to actually get you going. Listen, we'll come back to that in just a moment, I think. Let's just go back to your main site there once again. All right, it's interesting because Gavin, it's a very different technique, a very different process that Gavin's going through. So how do you make the process start? How do you work your way through the Amazon process? How do you make it successful? And how do you become a success using the Amazon platform when it comes to running a business?
I started with, say, 10 products just to test drive it, see how popular it would be. And then I started loading on lots and lots of products. It's quite, the loading on the products is the time consuming bit, but Amazon have everything that I sell in a catalogue, in their online catalogue. So all I do is just list alongside that.
And your products, just to find out a little bit more about the products as well for that matter, just tell us a little bit about those. Because you said that they're natural, are they used by aromatherapists? Is that who your target audience is? Who are you talking to?
It's mostly the public. It's vitamins, minerals, superfoods, aromatherapy oils. It's primarily the public.
And it is, and when you get the information back, when somebody buys from you, do you end up, because Gavin's business is all about lists, it's all about numbers. It isn't, I suppose. Am I right in saying this, Gav? It's a bit of a numbers game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. What I'm trying to do is get people to opt into my list. They get something free, and then from that point, I make them a cash customer, or try to make them a cash customer by focusing on their interests and providing something they may well be interested in. I've got a list of people who bought the hip replacement book, but I wouldn't be trying to sell them an acrobatics course. I might try and sell them vitamins or omega-3. I might try and sell them get a peaceful night's sleep. So you've got to, with a segmented list or list, you've got to target the people who bought once. Just something you think would match their interest or their tastes. It's hopeless or pointless trying to sell them something completely different that doesn't match their focus.
So what would be the piece of advice then you would give to somebody? What would be the core takeaway that you would say to them when it comes to internet marketing and internet publishing?
Well, there is a bit of a cliche, and it is the money is in the list, and it's absolutely true. But there's one step beyond that, and that's there's money in the relationship with the list. Unless you give people ongoing support, the truth is nobody wants to be sold to directly. But in the business I'm in, if you give them helpful advice, and plenty of helpful advice, and then now and again make an offer to them, that process is far more fruitful. If you just try and sell to people, then they get jaded and then they unsubscribe from the list that you put them on or they put themselves into. So that you have to guard your list very carefully, and you have to generate a relationship with them and be ultra helpful, answer their questions. Sometimes I do surveys online or on my email saying, hey, what would you like to know about? What's your biggest problem? And try and answer those questions.
What about you, Lynn, when it comes to putting a list together? I mean, how do you go onwardly promote your company, or do you rely, I mean, we've talked about Amazon, of course, but do you rely completely on Amazon to actually do that work for you?
95% at the moment, yeah.
So are you in a position, though, to grow a list when you are using Amazon to distribute your product?
You're not allowed to promote a third party once you're an Amazon merchant if the person has purchased from Amazon.
And are there people, because you obviously get their details, because, well, when it comes to dispatch, Gavin dispatches directly to his customers. Do you dispatch directly to Amazon or directly to your customers?
At the moment, I do both. FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, and LPJ, as I call it, dispatch by myself. But I'm moving it all over, trying to move it all over to FBA now, because you ship into Amazon and Amazon take care of everything for you. They ship, they take care of all the customer inquiries, refunds, etc.
I tell you what, let's go down the route as well of defining what you just said. FBA, what's that?
Fulfillment by Amazon.
Fulfillment by Amazon, and the other one is?
LPJ, fulfillment by me.
Fulfillment by me. There's no M in it. But that's interesting. And if you had it to do again, do you think you would go down the Amazon route the way you're doing it? Or has it actually grown your business? Because I know you're not far from our studios, and I have seen huge vans departing on a daily basis full of stock that you are sending out there. I mean, obviously the partnership is very important, and it does work.
It does work. I mean, I started off selling probably 10 products a week. Some weeks now it's 1,000.
Which is phenomenal.
So
now
that's in 3 years.
But if someone was thinking about going down the Amazon route, do they have to first of all be prepared for the cash flow that they're going to have in their business? Because Amazon are holding on to the money for a period of time, so they've got that particular instance. And then you are beholden to them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Can they switch you off?
Yes, they can. They can suspend you.
They can suspend. And what do you have to do with be suspended?
If your practice is not up to scratch, if you're late with your dispatches, you're not replying to customers' emails. Basically, it's all about service.
Do you know, as a consumer, that is really, really exciting. I think that's fantastic because it should be all about the end user.
Yeah.
What about you, Gav? You've already said that you give a 100% cashback guarantee. Why do that within the industry you're in, or why at least offer that up front? Is there rosy doubt in your mind that the product isn't as good as it's going to be?
No, because you are dealing, the purchaser, you are a stranger to them quite often. And there is a degree of suspicion still about websites. Lynn is quite right. I love Amazon, and I buy stuff from Amazon virtually every day. And having that brand and having the 100% guarantee, and knowing that I bought some toothpaste, some whitening toothpaste from America a couple of weeks ago. I ordered it in August and it didn't arrive, and it was non-trackable US Postal Service dispatch. Well, I waited for this. 1 month later, they did actually send me the email, the delivery date. It hadn't arrived. So I thought a month delivery from the States is quite a long time anyway. Just filled in the complaints box on Amazon, and immediately they refunded $19, and the stuff still hasn't arrived. When I looked at the reviews of this particular company, time and time again, it said, stuff hasn't arrived, still waiting for my stuff. And Amazon protect you from anything like that. Lynn's is a legitimate business, but sometimes there are people who operate who aren't legitimate. But having that protection from a customer's point of view just makes me decide to buy. Whatever happens, I can't lose.
Safe and efficient.
Sorry, what's that?
Safe and efficient.
Safe and efficient. I tell you what,
Yeah,
probably a good
yeah.
place to actually take a little bit of a break just for a few moments' time. We're going to come back, we're going to continue our discussion about direct marketing using the internet and also using the likes of Amazon. Also, we're going to be finding out as well the difference between Amazon and also eBay too, for that matter. So that's what we're going to be sorting out in just a few moments' time. We're going to be chatting about that. Now, as I said at the very beginning of the program, we would like you to come onto our website and to register on the websites. If you go to our YouTube site, you can go on there and you can actually subscribe to it. We'd like to see that. And if you go straight to the website that's on the screen right now, then you can also subscribe there. And once again, we are talking about lists because we do want to have your name, because we want to be able to tell you about some of the exciting guests that we're going to be getting on the program in the future as well. Now, with the roundup of what's been happening in the news over the past 7 days, it has been a busy week. We've had the Labour Party conference taking place down in Brighton. All sorts of things have been said down there, whether you agree with them or disagree with them. It's been an interesting time, but with a roundup of what's happening as far as business is concerned across the UK and the world, we join Linda Bazant.
And in the business news this week, we continue the conference season with the Labour Party in Brighton. Ed Miliband, as he addressed the delegates at the Labour conference, proposed a freeze on gas and electricity bills for 18 months if he should win the next general election. Already there's been angry feedback from the energy companies with veiled threats that such action could put us in a position of a lack of investment in the energy industry and of possible power cuts. Sir Roger Carr of Centrica said this action could threaten UK jobs and investment. Centrica, who own British Gas, have today seen a drop in their share value. Many commentators have said that this kind of involvement in a privately owned company could be the thin end of the wedge. What would the consequence be on your business if there was legislation from government on the price you sell your goods at? Business Connections Live would like to know your views on the subject and how the possible fallout could affect your business. Also, Mr. Miliband offered help to SMEs by proposing to cut business rates. This could be paid for by increasing business tax for large organisations. And the banks are watching the house prices. The Bank of England is watching the UK's housing market for signs of overheating. The FPC, the bank's Financial and Policy Committee, said the recovery of the housing sector seemed to have gained momentum, with average prices up 5% in August. There have been renewed fears of a housing bubble in recent months, fueled by a sharp price increase in London, where values have jumped 10% in the last year. And looking at technology this week, if it's September, it must be time for a new Apple iPhone. And indeed, we get not one, but two new offerings from the company. The so-called cut price 5C and the 5S, both versions replace the iPhone 5, which is being discontinued. There is very little difference in the price between the 5C and the 5S, and early reports are indicating that people are still prepared to pay the top price for the only slightly higher specified 5S. It's all good news for Apple, though, and comes at a time when a once much respected mobile phone supplier, BlackBerry, are announcing plans to cut their workforce by 4,000 people as they struggle to keep up to date with the ongoing smartphone enhancements. It also proves that even a big company such as Apple are going to have their work cut out to maintain their market share. No doubt the lights burn late in Apple development offices as they design the iPhone 6, and many people will be expecting some major changes next time. And how about your smartphone use? Will you be dashing out to buy the latest iPhone 5 or any of the countless other new models out there? Do you feel a need to keep up with technology, or are you happy with your current model? Please let us know here at Business Connections Live. One of our future programs will be looking in depth at communications and hope to give you some ideas about what might work for your business. Technology is supposedly there to help us and make our lives easier, but two banks this week, Santander and Barclays, were reminded of just how difficult managing secure networks can be, as police arrested 8 people after they managed to hack into both bank networks and steal around £1 million. The days of the bank robbery with getaway cars and balaclavas may also have been consigned to the dustbin. If you would like to comment on these or any other issues that affect your business, please give us your views by emailing studio@businessconnectionslive.com.
And thank you very much, Linda, for that. And we'll be doing that on a regular basis. And will you be going out and getting yourself the update to the iPhone 5? It does seem these days with the telephone or the iPhone that you're pretty much forced into it. Some people don't like it. I know one of my colleagues here, he reckons that he doesn't like the font very much. What about you, Gav? You're a bit of an iPhone fan, aren't you?
I am, but I've got an old one, I'm afraid. A long time ago, I decided that the 3 was just about up to my capabilities. And that's what I'm stuck with, a 3GS, I think it is. I love it. I love the iPhone. I love the apps as well.
I mean, and I think that's what's so special about it. And I suppose from they've really got it right, the model, haven't they? They bring out a great product, and there's all these upsells. When it comes to upsells for your business, are you in a position to do upsells to your customers?
Well, I'm working on some partnered services, personal training, massage, weight loss.
And that will be the upsell that you'll be able to offer?
Yeah.
And do you see that as an important expansion of the business, do you think?
That's what I'm passionate about.
That's what you're passionate about.
That's
so
me.
really, I suppose what you're saying at the moment,
Yeah.
the business that you're running at the moment is really the worky bit.
Yep.
And the bit that you actually get excited
I spring
about.
out of bed for in the morning that's what I've got.
That's
what I want to
fantastic.
do, yeah.
And from your point of view, Gavin, the upsells are really important to your business, aren't they? Because they are an opportunity to increase, maybe double or whatever the actual amount that you take.
Yeah, I'm looking for lifetime value of my customers, and it's never just the $7 product they bought in the beginning. It's always, that person who's bought the $7 product is very likely to go to the next tier, which is 47, which is very likely again to go to the next tier, which is 97. Those are information products. If they want to learn about internet marketing, then they might well be up for a £1,500 seminar, a one-day thing where I teach them. Well, absolutely. And I would say to Linda, now that, Linda, you've got a successful business and you've cracked working with Amazon, you've cracked selling physical products, one of the key things that you have as equity is your ability to formatize that knowledge and to pass it on to somebody else. And interestingly, some people may say, well, I'm not going to give away my trade secrets. The internet is big enough to accommodate everyone. It never tops out. And there are always new people who want to learn skills. So you could easily package your knowledge into a one-day seminar. And I've seen this happen, and you can stand on stage and you can sell your lessons, or you can sell a one-day workshop for up to $3,000, maybe $297. There are still people who want to tread the path that you tread successfully, and your knowledge is money, and you should, and I would advise anyone with a successful business format to think about writing it down, making some tutorials and teaching that knowledge. That's the business I'm in as well, helping people to transform their knowledge into a saleable product beyond the actual core product.
I mean, that is really interesting, actually. It just goes to show that if you are a small business at the moment and you're thinking to yourself, how do I grow my business? How do I make my business bigger? How do I increase my turnover, my revenue? How do I make more money out of what I do on a daily basis? And you love your job. Here's an opportunity to take your knowledge and perhaps maybe, as Gavin's just said, to actually sell it on, isn't it? And that's what's so incredible about this. I mean, you're in exactly that position. And I could see you were nodding away while Gavin was talking there.
Never even crossed my mind, but now my brain is whirling.
And it's true, though, isn't it? And as much as, everything that you've done from the aromatherapy, the massage there, and the different
training,
the different products that you have, there's so much knowledge that you have. And I think it's so much knowledge that all of us have that we can actually share with somebody else. And I think the other thing is there is always going to be somebody out there that wants to know, aren't they, Gav?
There are. I mean, my icebreaker 3 years ago is I went to a huge thing at the O2 with a guy called Andrew Reynolds, who did a thing called Cash on Demand. But he invited probably a couple of dozen online entrepreneurs to come and sell their skills and basically to tout their skill services to people in the audience. And that particular event took millions of pounds. for people who wanted to go from, just like I was doing a day job, and I wanted to acquire knowledge how to do something online. And it's incredible to see in an auditorium like that, I think there were 22,000 people there, you know, somebody on stage says, well, here's my offer, here's the course on using eBay, and then 200 or 300 people stand up and spend £3,000 each on acquiring this knowledge. And even in a recession, millions of pounds change hands at that event. It's incredible. You know, when the pressure's on, people do want to break free from an employer. And probably just as Lynn did, you know, the uncertainty of having a day job, contraction of businesses and consolidation of workplaces, you're now in the era where you can do this with almost no problem at all if you're an action taker. And Lynn, you know, listening to your story, it is absolutely fantastic. But you do have this second string to your bow. Teaching that knowledge is worth so much money, especially as you've done it successfully and you know the pitfalls and the advantages. You know, teaching that knowledge, just writing it down, and you could teach it in a one-day seminar or 3-day seminar, could earn you a fortune in addition to your core business.
And I think that's what it is. It is all about information and information marketing. That's what you are selling, and that, of course, is what you're talking about. But there is also the other side of this. There are some people who will see the different websites, and they will be slightly sceptical about this kind of process, this kind of offer that perhaps even that you're putting up on screen. And while you could be very reputable, there are people out there that aren't.
That's true. You know, there are disreputable people in any business at all, but, you know, like Lynn, you get your product is sold with a money-back guarantee. There is no risk, and what I try and do with my products, and Lynn does through Amazon with hers, is just eliminate risk. So whatever happens, the customer can always be sure it doesn't work out, they get their cash back. You know, I love Amazon, and I just mentioned this, I used couple of weeks ago, Amazon Outlet. It's called Argos Outlet on Amazon, and I bought a computer. I ordered it 10 o'clock at night, and 8 o'clock the next morning it was delivered. How good is that? It's just fantastic.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. But it just goes to show you. Now, I mean, it's interesting that you know, Gavin's talking about that. Once again, it's all about customer service. Yeah. Just before we move on, what's with the 7 all the time? It's 297, it's £97 or $97. Why the number 7?
Is this for me to answer? Well,
yes, please.
The interesting thing is, what's fascinating about the internet is that you can do what's called split testing. And when Google refers a customer to your website, you can have 2 pages set up, and then you can determine which of those pages is the most successful. And already in the States, many times this work has been done on, you know, what produces the most sales. And for some mysterious reason, a 7 produces sales, and those tiers have been tried and tested over, you know, ever since the internet has been around. Those are the most successful tiers of prices. Don't ask me why, it's something about our inbuilt psychology. The same research has gone into the color of payment buttons. The green payment buttons work better than red payment buttons. And it doesn't matter which aspect of a website you look at, someone has researched which would be the most effective and the most beneficial.
Hang on, I'm just writing that down. Green's good.
Okay. Green's good. I've got a whole list of these.
You've got a whole list of them.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it does go to show you, doesn't it, that there is a lot of psychology going on. In fact, there are a lot of people online at the moment that are actually peddling the psychology, the side of doing online selling at the moment. And what we'll do, we'll put some links up on the page that this is with to point you in some of the different directions for those kind of people who are purveying that. We ourselves are putting together a training course for you on how to sell your business online using video, because, you know, Google likes it. A lot of people go to it, and of course that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you the information that you need to actually do it. If you want to find out more details and you can't wait, email the address that's on the screen at the moment, and we'll get the information to you, or at least we'll let you know when you can actually get that information in the future. Now, I did promise a little bit earlier on that we were not going to just stick on Amazon all the way, but we were going to say Amazon versus eBay. Yep. Now, I love eBay. Nearly as much as I love Amazon.
eBay's lovely for buying,
Yes.
but not so much for selling. But I don't know if it's going to change now, because in the news today they've just done a deal with Argos. eBay and Argos are getting together where they can have pickup points in every Argos store.
Oh,
for
really?
eBay
So you don't have
purchases.
to...
They're on Amazon's tail, apparently, according to the Daily Mail today.
So this is, I understand, is actually going to be on trial for a short length of time before it actually
apparently
goes
so,
right
yeah.
across the country. So that, I mean, how would that affect your business?
I don't trade much on eBay.
But the fact that you've got eBay now going into the stores, I mean, do you do any trading at all on eBay?
No, probably 5% of my business is on eBay.
You know, it's very interesting because you do go onto eBay quite a lot and you look at the different products that are on there, and it is down to the sales description. Once again, it's back to the psychology, the written word of what maybe Gavin does for his business. But there was a very interesting experiment done by a couple of Australian guys, and what they did there was one of these sort of performance bike kind of things. It was a Rusty L Heap actually, and I think they bought it for $12 Australian, something like that. And what they did, they sat back, they received the bike, and then they put it back up on eBay, but they wrote a brand new description about that, and the description went on. It was like long form selling, exactly the kind of thing that we traditionally see with internet marketing. And this long form selling, they claimed all sorts of things to it. It was all done a bit tongue in cheek. They really did promote the key features and the key benefits, more importantly, the benefits about what was so great about this bike. The bike that they bought for $12, if my memory serves me right, they finally sold for something like $97. So they had a terrific markup, and that just goes to show you just how powerful the written word is. And the next time you're going onto eBay, if you go onto eBay and you do actually write out your description of what your product is, but do it in a salesy way, you will increase the amount of money that you make on eBay without a shadow of a doubt. And I've just been whispered in my ear, hence the reason I stopped for a moment, because I've just realised at my age I can't do two things at the same time. But actually, what's that you're saying about Argos and eBay? Selected... all right, I've just been told that selected eBay posts and whatever will be available from some of the different Argos stores. Okay, Gavin, how does that sound to you when we're actually talking about eBay? Have you used eBay for anything at all?
I buy from eBay all the time, but I don't sell my products through eBay, and I buy through Amazon all the time. And there are a couple of things I know on Amazon that make a lot of difference, and that's the reviews that people write. They can, if you do give bad service on there, they can kill you. If you do good service, then the 5-star reviews can just escalate your business to higher levels. And I've no doubt Lynn knows this. And the other thing on Amazon that I know about, which is fantastically clever, is the thing that pops up at the bottom: buyers of this product also bought.
Yes.
And that generates so much business as well. Such a clever tool that Amazon have got. So I respond to those things. I might buy a book on my Kindle and I see something else, might be, psychology book, and it says buyers also bought this, and immediately I click another book or two more books, and it's downloaded onto my Kindle instantly. Well, the same goes for physical products. It's like an unstoppable force, and the people who've already bought are very likely to repeat their purchase moments later. Once somebody's bought something, you've got them in the frame of mind where they will buy something immediately afterwards.
Well, they do say you're actually in the frame of mind, aren't you, for buying at that particular moment.
It's a psychological state.
And they say as well that if you are buying directly from the site, then by using something like an autoresponder, that is the time to be sending it back to the actual customer and saying, you've just bought this from me, would you like to buy this as well? Because they are in buying mode. I mean, are you able to use, Lynn, any of those kind of techniques in your business?
No,
or is that for tomorrow, really?
Yeah, that's for tomorrow. Yeah, not with Amazon. You can't.
You're going to have a busy day tomorrow, actually, aren't you? You've got a book to write, and you've got a conference to organise, and you've got to change the colour of your buy now buttons. I love all that.
My whole website's green. So
the website's green, and it looks lovely. And you've got the dog, and you've got the baby, and the coconut there, which really says it all for me, quite frankly. So, where do you see the business going? And if you had advice to somebody who was thinking about starting their business at the moment, how do you think they should start off? What are the key things they should be looking for? What's important?
Firstly, be really organised and be prepared for hard work, and also be prepared for bad feedback. Sometimes people do give you bad feedback. If you know, it used to really hurt, but you sort of just get used to it. And I've had customers complain. I've emailed them, and then we can sort of open a rapport. And a couple of them even send me Christmas cards now. So there is that possibility of turning it around. And also, you've got to be prepared to work hard. But you've got to find, the primary thing with Amazon is to find the correct product. Because there are people that run legitimate businesses like mine, and there are people that run their business from their shed. They don't pay any tax, don't pay any VAT, and they will keep knocking your price down until it's a race to the bottom.
And what they end up doing, of course, invariably, is actually devaluing everybody's product at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's a real issue that some people do have.
So
What
if
about
you can find a key product that not many other people are selling, or like I'm doing, produce your own product so you're more in control, because Amazon is a perfect platform for promoting new product.
Let's get behind the frontage of the store, and let's go behind for a moment. When we talk about the product, I mean, sometimes you are selling products that are available elsewhere but with different labels on, aren't you? Is some of it down to the label as well, and what you say on the label and what you call your label? For instance, if it might be water, and here's another bottle that is 50p more expensive, but it's Water Plus, and then we've got Water Professional. Is it down to the terminology and the psychology that we actually... People in my ear are going, that's a good idea. But is that something that you see yourself sometimes? And have you ever used techniques very similar to that?
No, because I sell recommended brands, and my own products will be formulated by myself.
Right.
So they will be exactly what it says on the tin.
And is it difficult, and is it important to make certain that the product is right? I mean, what made you go the route you went?
I just love devising products.
Really? And that was why you went down there. So it was really fulfilling two areas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm passionate about product.
What about you, Gav? We touched on it earlier on when we were going on about the reputation, perhaps, of some internet marketeers. And there are cowboys out there, aren't there?
There are, yes. I mean, one of the things that I did quite early on is I found a good mentor, and I did a lot of research. Being a broadcaster, being a former consumer journalist, I did a lot of research as to who were the good guys, and I found one guy in particular who I can name in Reading, and he took me under his wing. I bought his publications, attended his seminars, and really benefited from that information. There are two people of the same name in the UK. The one that I follow is a guy called Nick James, who is based in Reading. And he was, to me, absolute integrity, a guy who's done really well. I really sort of took on his values. I'm interested, looking at Lynn's logo, at the top of her website, seeing the baby and a little puppy as well there.
It's a puppy.
And a coconut as well. And I'm thinking, Lynn, do you sell coconut oil?
We do sell coconut oil, and I'm actually starting to import from the Philippines.
Well, that's fantastic, because I'm a great fan of coconut oil and saturated fats in general, healthy saturated fats. And that's a good sign. I like you already, Lynn.
Well, blow me sideways. And what about extract of baby and dog as well? Are you interested in those?
I am Mr. Supplements. In fact, my wife and I are just complete supplement freaks. And you should see us in the morning when we get ready to go to our daily work here. There must be a pile of 30 or 40 pills that we take with omega fish oil, vitamin K3, K2, D3, you name it, we take it. And, you wouldn't, I'm over 86 now, but I'm sure I look about 27.
I was just about to say it's not working, Gavin, but there we are. I'll tell you what, just before we do wrap up and we do finish, the one area that we haven't touched on are joint ventures, JVs. Is that something that you're in a position that you're actually able to do yourself when you do joint ventures? What kind of things would that be for you?
Well, I know all about products and vitamins, minerals, etc. But I'm looking for someone that I can take my business forward, e-commerce wise.
And have you ever tried doing a JV with anybody
No.
before in the past? So, I mean, it's an
No.
interesting area, I think, JV. With you, Gavin, of course, JVs are very important, aren't they? Because that's something that you can do. You talked about some of your mentors that you've got, but is this
Yeah.
an area that we talk about?
Well, with any business, you can extend. Just suppose that Lynn has a list of customers and she knows they've bought multivitamins. And then there's another company that has something else that she thinks those customers might be interested in that product as well. It's basically exchanging access to those lists for value. What I did is I devised a course recently which was called Udemy Academy. Now, in America, there's a learning site which is called Udemy, udemy.com. And it's an educational website that contains hundreds, if not thousands, of different courses. It's also a search engine. And I learnt about a year ago, but knew nothing about it. It's a phenomenon in the States. So I set about learning how to use it and then producing a course on how to use it. And I took this course to a couple of internet marketers and said, would you be interested in having me on a 1.5 hour webinar where I promote this course if we do a 50-50 split on sales? And I'm so generous that I said, you can even take the money at your website and you just send me a check when this is over. And I did it with a couple of internet marketers, to say the least. And that, here it is, this is Udemy. There are on there, this is little billboards you can see of courses. Some are free, some you pay for, but it's a fantastic platform for delivering educational material. So we did this two-way joint venture, and I think within 7 days sold £12,000 worth of the courses that I had. Did exactly the same webinar with another internet marketer on a 50-50 split and did just about the same amount again. So they give me access to their list. They take 50% of the money that I generate and I walk away with the other half. It's a win-win situation. And you can duplicate that time and time again if you find equivalent businesses with lists of people who might be interested in that product.
I must admit, Gavin, I mean, we're just looking at the site here and I am amazed at some of the pricing for these particular courses and also the star rating that we get. We're looking at things $399, we're looking at $99, and then we're looking at some that are absolutely free as well, like this entrepreneur's checklist that is sitting there, which is free, but it's got 4.5 stars, had 26.6 thousand students. I mean, it's phenomenally successful, isn't it?
Well, that's what I saw it. And if you look at, I don't know if you can search on that page, but if you look at courses on Excel spreadsheets, and you can, perhaps it looks like the green one on the screen somewhere, but you can put in Excel.
And I've just done that there. I'll just
and see what comes up. And the Excel courses are some of the best sellers. EXCELL, I think it is, might be 1L. Has anything come up yet?
Yeah, it's 1L. Okay.
1L. Okay, but the people who've made the course on Excel have sold millions of dollars worth of courses to students. Really, millions of dollars worth. It's such a huge money spinner. I don't know if you can see there, Excel 1, 2. No doubt there are loads of copiers now, but can you see the number of students there?
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's phenomenal. 13,000 on this one down the bottom. Advanced Microsoft Excel, 15 reviews, $99 for that one.
Got a calculator? Do a little calculation as to how much revenue that one course has produced.
Well, let's just have a look at that. That's 13,000, 130,000 or thereabouts.
Well, near as damn it, just add 2 noughts to that. You won't be far out if you add 2 noughts to that figure.
That is just phenomenal when you think about it, isn't it? That is amazingly successful, and it's the kind of thing that you just don't recognise or actually know it is there, do you?
See, Lynn could devise a course and put it on there, and how to make money from Amazon, how to trade on Amazon, how to run this or that or the other business on Amazon, and there would be immediately buyers would come in. The other thing to bear in mind is, just like eBay and just like Amazon, Udemy is a search engine. So it's an information destination where people go in and they put in their search term to find a course on a particular subject. So you have, I think it has 1 million visitors a month looking for courses to take, whether they're hobby, vocational, educational, academic, whichever category goes into how to get promotion at work, then you will find people are already there looking for courses. It's a fantastic platform.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put the links up for this particular site as well, so you can actually find that after the programme. Listen, we're near the end of the programme right now, so let's talk about some of the takeaways that we'd like our viewers to actually walk away with this evening. From your point of view, Lynn, if you're starting a business, what should you be thinking about once again? What are the things that are important? They are...
Organisation and hard work.
Organisation, hard work.
Persevere.
Make certain you've got a right product and persevere. Don't expect results to come very quickly.
No.
What about you, Gav? What kind of things would you say? What advice would you give to somebody, perhaps who wants to start a business like Lynn's or maybe a business like yours?
Well, I would say the first thing is find someone like Lynn and say to her, Lynn, I've been looking at your business. I really admire what you've done. Would you show me how to do it? Would you show me, how you can go wrong? Strangely enough, anybody that you approach is flattered by you saying, will you be my mentor? And will you show me how to do it? Now, Lynn might say, or somebody like Lynn might say, yeah, sure, I haven't got time, but if you're prepared to come to one of my courses. But you don't need to invent the wheel. You don't need to create a new system. You simply have to find someone who's been using the system successfully and emulate that and, give it your own spin. You don't have to start from ground zero. Find somebody who's doing it and do what they do.
Well, listen, can I thank the pair of you very much indeed for coming in this evening. I mean, it's been a bit of an education, I think, for definitely for me and also for you and hopefully for Gavin as well. But more importantly, I hope it's been an education for you at home as well. Now, if you want to find out more about us, Business Connections Live, all you got to do is go to studio@businessconnectionslive.com. You can email us there or go to the website, businessconnectionslive.com. Simply go there. If you want to, you can also go onto YouTube. You can go to Google Plus too, for that matter. We're right all over the place. The one thing I would ask you, if you are watching this program on YouTube at the moment, please would you subscribe to the channel. Please would you subscribe to the channel. Now, one thing that has come in on the chat rooms throughout the course of the week, in fact, have been a few questions saying, now you did promise that we're going to be able to watch the program on tablet devices and also iPhones and things like that. We hope to be bringing that feature to the show next week so you can actually watch us perhaps on the train or on your way home from work. And if you are working from home, listen, it is down to hard work, but we are here to help you. So, we really want to hear what you're up to, what you're doing. And if you are someone that's in business and you feel that you've got the advice like Gavin, like Lynn have done this evening, and you'd like to share that with our viewers, then please get in touch with us as well. And you can either Skype into the program, or if you want, you can even give us a call. The telephone number is on the website as well. And you'll find that the email address is just sitting below me. From me, Steve Harland, thank you very much indeed for watching. I'd like to thank the entire crew, Gordon, Katie, Linda, Curtis. I'd like to thank my two guests, Lynn and also Gavin as well. And can I just say thank you, most importantly, to you for watching this evening. And we'll do it all again, we hope, next Wednesday. It won't be quite so bumpy, we promise you that, but we'll do it again next Wednesday at 7 for another edition of Business Connections Live. Till then, bye for now. Bye-bye.